Hare Krishna. So Raunak Prue, Ashutosh Prue, Abhinav Prue, some more may be joining in between. So welcome all of you. Today we are going to start now, continue our reading from Srimad Bhagavatam. So as far as I remember, we are in the section of Yamdutas. They are now basically Vishnu Dutas had asked some questions to Yamdutas, and now Yamdutas are answering that. What is religion and who is to be punished, and different how a living entity is punished because of his different activities. So that section is going on, and this is a very helpful section for all of us because we don't have to get into all these kinds of sinful activities to understand what is going to happen. We just read this Ajamila section and the instructions of Yamdutas. Basically, here it's a what we say. It's like when you are writing an exam, but you don't know what the answers are. You just know the questions. You write it, and then at the end, whenever result comes, that time you come to know this was the mistake. Here I was wrong and all. So basically, here Yamdutas are like they are in one sense they are also like checking the papers and all. So here, if you see the entire section, Yamdutas are telling who will be punished and who will not be punished. So here we have very wonderful chance that who is punished. So if you do this kind of activities, you will be punished. So then a living entity can be more careful not to get in the trap of Yamdutas. So basically, Yamdutas are telling that what should not be done. If you do this, then we will come and catch you. So that thing is there. So now let us see what Yamdutas say in the next verses. So I think we have completed till text 53. Today we'll start with text 54. So let us recite the shloka. लब्ध्वा निमित्तम् अव्यक्तम्
लब्ध्वा निमित्तमम्
अव्यक्तं
अव्यक्तं
व्यक्त्या व्यक्तं भवत्युत
व्यक्ता
व्यक्तं
भवत्युता
यथा
भवत्यथा
योनि यथा बीजम्
यथा
यथा
योनि
योनि यथा बीजं
स्वभावेन बलीयसा.
स्वभावेन
स्वभावेन
यथा
बलीयसा.
Yes, Ashutosh, translation.
Translation: the fruitive activities a living being performs, whether pious or impious, are the unseen cause for the fulfillment of his desires. This unseen cause is the root for the living entity's different bodies. Because of his intense desire, the living entity takes birth in a particular family and receives a body which is either like that of his mother or like that of his father. The gross and subtle bodies are created according to his desire.
Yeah, the fruitive activities a living being performs, whether pious or impious, are the unseen cause of the fulfillment of his desires. So basically, whatever kind of activities we do in our life, so those activities are coming from our desire, and they are the unseen cause of fulfillment of his desires. So basically, we have certain desires, and because of those desires, we commit some activities, some fruitive activities. Either it may be pious or impious. So desires are there. Okay, I have to do this. Like a thief is always having a desire to steal. So first the desire comes, and then the action comes, and by that action, he is actually fulfilling the desire. So in that way, it is both way. By the desire, one does action, and by action, one fulfills his desire. So for that sake, any desire you take, as soon as you get particular desire, immediately our entire attention goes on how to fulfill that, and how which all kinds of activities I should do. Like a some child, if initially only his uh, parents ask him, okay, what you want to become when you grow, whether you want to become engineer or doctor or businessman or lawyer or different fields will be there, and then he says, okay, I want to become a doctor. Then he says, okay, you prepare for this particular exam, and then you so then the child entire attention goes on to that particular activity, that how can I become doctor, then what all things I have to take steps and different things. So his basically entire attention goes on into how I should get my aim fulfilled. So all the activities, the based on his studies, everything will be turned into that way. And that will be true for any other thing also. Like a businessman is there, he knows I want to start a business. So anything he sees, it will be in relation to his business only. He may be going all over the world, different places and all. So whichever place he comes and he sees that, as soon as he sees the place, then he will connect somehow to his business, because basically his desires are filled with that business thoughts, and now he wants to do action which is pertaining to that business. So if he feels that okay, some place he goes and he understands, oh, these products are very much valuable, let me start a business of this product so that my business will be very nice. So that's how wherever that I think Rajampur says that no. Uh, mm, Basically, attention goes where intent flows. So wherever our intent is there, that's how the entire attention is carried away by that particular thing. So that's what is given here. And another thing is mentioned in this translation is because of his intense desire, that means a living entity's intense desire, what happens? He takes birth in a particular family and receives a body which is either like that of his mother or father. Now, sometimes people say that, oh, I got a body like sometimes, many times actually the son or daughter, they look exactly, either they look like mother or they look like father, or sometimes they are combination of mother and father, or sometimes they don't look like either. That also happens. So in either case, people may think that okay, my body has come from my mother, father only. My entire existence comes from my mother, father, so that's how I got the body exactly like that. But here it is said not like that. Actually, because of his desire, he gets different bodies, and because of his desire, is put into with mother, father is also given to him, which are suiting to his karma, and that's how he gets that kind of body. Okay, so going next, Parbat, let us read what Prabhupada says. Yes, Raunak Prabhu.
The gross body is a product of subtle body. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 8.6, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajate ante kalevaram tam tam ivaiti konteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. Whatever state of being one remembers when he quits the body, that state he will attain without fail. The atmosphere of the subtle body at the time of death is created by the activities of the gross body. Thus, the gross body acts during one's lifetime and the subtle body acts at the time of death. The subtle body, which is also called linga, the one's mother, the body of desire is the background for the development of particular type of gross body, which is either like that of one's mother or like that of one's father. According to the Rig Veda, if at the time of sex the secretions of the mother are more profuse than those of the father, the child will receive a female body. And if the secretions of the father are more profuse than those of the mother, the child will receive a male body. These are the subtle laws of nature which act according to the desire of the living entity. If a human being is taught to change his subtle body by developing consciousness of Krishna at the time of death, the subtle body will create a gross body in which he will be a devotee of Krishna. Or if he is still more perfect, he will not take another material body, but will immediately get a spiritual body and thus return home back to Godhead. This is the process of transmigration of soul. Therefore, instead of trying to unite human society through pacts for sense gratification that can never be achieved, it is clearly desirable to teach people how to become Krishna conscious and return home back to Godhead. This is true now and indeed at any time.
Hmm. So, so, so our next our future life depends on what? What is that thing in our present life by which our future is dependent on? Which body it is? Yes.
through our desires.
Desires in what matters at the time of death? Subtle body or gross body?
Consciousness.
Subtle body matters. Subtle body matters.
Yeah, subtle body. Basically, all desires, consciousness, everything is there in subtle body. So, what kind of desires you have, the consciousness you have, so that kind of body we will get in the next life. So, basically, we see that the soul is there, and then there is a subtle body coverings of the false ego, intelligence, and mind, and then there is a gross body. So gross body is acting in different ways. We are doing our own things and all. So any living entity usage is acting as per the gross body. But at the same time, whatever actions may be, there are subtle bodies every time changing. Changing means the gross body will change directly at the time of death, but the subtle body keeps changing. Like today, I have certain thought process. Like suppose a person before coming to Krishna consciousness, he had certain thought process that oh, I will be like this, my life is like this, and I want to go in this way. So then he has a particular desire in that way, and the consciousness is also made in that way. But as soon as he becomes devotee, now all his desires are directed towards Krishna. How can I make Krishna in the center of my life? He thinks more about chanting, progressing in spiritual path, and all his material things also he will mold according to spiritual life. So now one may see that previously coming to Krishna consciousness, his subtle body was different. Now after coming to Krishna consciousness, his subtle body is different. So at this time, suppose he dies. So after coming to Krishna consciousness, when he is in full peak of his advancement, then at that time he dies means according to subtle body, he will get a human life where he will be able to continue his practice of spirituality. And in case he could not continue that, in case the subtle body or he did not come to Krishna consciousness, he did not get only that chance. Then whatever kind of desires or activities or consciousness he had in the subtle body, that kind of life he is going to get. So basically, it all depends on our subtle body, what kind of inputs we give, what kind of desires we have. At every moment, it matters. It doesn't. It's not that okay. Once you become devotee, that's it, done. No, even after becoming devotee, also one may have different desires. After becoming a devotee, there are still because material desires are there, so one may come to Krishna consciousness, but the material desires may continue. Okay, I want to become a very good speaker. I want to get a lot of followers, or I want to get some particular post in the temple or in the community so that I will be recognized by people. So one may get different kinds of desires in that way. I want to become a very famous and all. So now, even though in Krishna consciousness, but he has got so many material desires, so then, based on that, he will get another body. He may be, because of his Krishna consciousness, he may get some chance to become Krishna conscious also. At the same time, he had a lot of material desires. So because of that, there will be some things will be done for him. So either it generally comes in fruitive activities. So he may uh, it may come in his consciousness, that kind of desires and that kind of body he will get. So basically, every moment we have choices: what body we should have, what kind of lifestyle we will have, and what desires we keep. So that choices are there, and based on that choice, we will get a particular body. So the subtle bodies keep changing, the kind of inputs we give, and this keep changing. As soon as death comes, what subtle consciousness we had, according to that, the body is going to be created for you. Like this. Just a minute. So in this way, the body is created according to our consciousness. Hmm. Also, one more thing is mentioned here is according to Rig Veda. So basically, the child will be male or female. That is also given here. Now, no scientist can actually understand. They only do sonography and they understand okay whether boy is there or the girl is there. But here it is said that on what factor it is dependent that whether the child will be a male or female. So the secretions of mother, if they are more profuse than father, then female, otherwise male. That is
Wow.
given in the Shastras.
Prabhuji, this is very different from what we studied in the science. We studied the only the male depends on the father only. It depends like who will be the son will be the like the child will be the
That is
female
correct.
or
On
male.
father only it depends.
Huh?
Father only it depends.
No, but this one is saying different. It's saying that if the secretion of mother are more profuse than those of the father, then the child will receive female. It says so. It depends
Yeah,
on mother also.
that only. If the secretion of father are profuse, then male. If secretions of father are not much, then female, like that. In that way, also we can say it is dependent on father.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So So human being is taught to change his subtle body by developing consciousness of Krishna at the time of death. In case some by mercy of devotees, because sometimes what happen, our consciousness is also keep fluctuating. Sometimes I like when we go to the holy dham, immediately we feel, oh, this is the wonderful thing. I want to go back to Godhead in this very lifetime. That's it. No more material world, no more suffering. I am so sometimes we are in our peak of Krishna consciousness. Sometimes we are little low, and sometimes we are in peak of our material consciousness also. So always our consciousness is fluctuating. So that's why there is one I who is that uh, who that prayer who sang that prayer Kantavaroda, that he says no my at the time of death my voice will be Kapavata Pitta, I will be carried away with this. Uh, anyone knows? Mm, there is one great stage actually. He said, no, that I don't know. Now my body is very healthy, so I can remember you. But I don't know at the time of the death, my voice will be choked up because of kapha vata pitta imbalance, and I will not be able to remember you or chant your name. But now I am proper healthy, so better take my life now itself. So there is one great soul. I think is which I'm not exactly remembering. Okay, King Kulashekara, correct, correct. In Mukundamala Stotra it comes. King Kulashekar, he actually prays to the Lord that, oh Lord, my body is very healthy now. Please take me. I am able to remember you. I am in peak of my spiritual life. So take me now itself. Let that death comes now so that I will die and I will come back to you. Because I don't know at the time of death whether I will be able to remember you or not. And that time, if the remembrance doesn't come or some other things come like Ajamila, initially he was very nicely Brahman family, very nicely worshipping the deities every day. So if just imagine if he would have left his body that time, he would have gone back to. Of course, he later also he went, but the just imagine. But in case after getting into the prostitute in their death comes, then it would be very difficult. Or before that Narayan, he gives the name of the son as Narayan. Before that death comes, then surely Yamadutas would have taken him. So we see that basically all things depends on our consciousness. So we have to be very careful, and that's why whenever we are in, so that's what I was telling that our consciousness is keeps fluctuating between spiritual consciousness and sometimes material consciousness. So we have to always keep it again. We have to bring it back to our spiritual life. So that is even whatever we may do our jobs, we may do our studies, but the principle should be very clear that I am doing whatever things I am doing that is for the Supreme Lord, for pleasure of the Supreme Lord. So there are two kinds of things. Anyone knows? Very short-term prayer, short-term goal and long-term goal. Anyone knows what is the meaning in Sanskrit? Short-term goal means
Shreyas and Prayas.
Shreyas and yeah, I heard it from
uh,
Radhisham.
Shreyas and prayers. So Shreyas means
Long-term goals.
yeah, Shreyas means long-term goal and prayers means short-term goal. So short-term goals we have our profession, studies, family. So those things are the short-term goal of life. But the long-term goal of life is to go back to Godhead. So that should always be in the back of our mind. Whatever things we are doing, we should always understand that this is the path I want to reach. Like suppose somebody is going in a that this journey example is there. No, somebody is traveling in a train. Suppose he is going from one place to another, Pune to Mumbai. He is going. He is in a train. So now one may get into the train. He understand. Okay, this is Mumbai is my destination. I have to get down here. So then he starts his journey. In between, nice sceneries come, the hill stations come, and he's looking at that. Then at some place they may stand also, like Lonavala, they may stop for 10-15 minutes. And the person may say, okay, let me just go out and see how the weather is, how the things are. And he goes little bit and he gets irritated. But if he is not able to come back immediately, then his train will be lost. Train will go away. The train will go to the destination without him. Or sometimes the people, there are Lonavala chikki is very famous. So some people may get down to take the chikkis, and they take the chikkis. Okay, which one is this? This doesn't seem to be so good. There's so many varieties are there. One is engaged in only just seeing the variety, and by the time when he looks back, the train is already gone. So that should not happen. So basically, this is the train journey is like our spiritual path. So my path is from material world to spiritual world. I want to reach, and then in between I have to attend to my job. But again, I have to sit in the train back. In between, I may have to go for my profession. Again, don't leave the train. Basically, go in the train. In between, do your things like you did your graduation, come back again. You did your profession. So those things will keep going, but don't leave the train. Train should always go on. That's how it will finally take us to the destination. So the goal should not be forgotten. If one forgets the goal of life, then we don't know what kind of where we will land up. Instead of going to the destination, we will land up in some other place, and then that's it. Then it will be very difficult for us to again come back. Okay, next verse. Aisha prakriti sangena
एष प्रकृतिसङ्गेन
nishasya viparyayah
पुरुषस्य विपर्ययः
आसिता एव न चिरात्
आसीत् स एव नाचिरा
ईश ईश संगात् विलीयते.
ईश
Yes, Abhinav, translation.
Hare Krishna. Since the living entity is associated with the material nature, he is in an awkward position. But if, in the human form of life, he is taught how to associate with the Supreme Personality of the Godhead or his devotees, this position can be overcome.
Yeah. So the living entity is associated with material nature. He is an awkward position. But in human form of life, he is taught how to associate with Supreme Personality of Godhead or his devotee. This position can be overcome. Okay, purport. Yes, Umang Group.
The word Prakriti means material nature, and Purusha may also refer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If one wants to continue his association with Prakriti, the female energy of Krishna, and be separated from Krishna by the illusion that he is able to enjoy Prakriti, he must continue in his conditional life. If he changes his consciousness, however, and associates with the Supreme Original Person, Purusham Shashwatam, or with his associate, he can get out of entanglement of material nature, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 4.9. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tatvata. One must simply understand the Supreme Person, Krishna, in terms of his form, name, activities, and pastime. This will keep one always in the association of Krishna. Tyaktva deham punarjanma na eti mam eti suarjuna. Thus, after giving up his gross material body, one accepts not another gross body but a spiritual body in which to return home back to Godhead. Thus one ends the tribulation caused by his association with the material energy. In summary, the living entity is an eternal servant of God, but he comes to the material world and is bound by material condition because of his desire to lord it over matter. Liberation means giving up this false consciousness and reviving one's original service to the Lord. This return to one's original life is called mukti, as confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam. Muktir hetwanyatha rupam swarupena vyavasthita.
Yeah, so here it is said, if one wants to continue the association with Prakriti and be separated from Krishna, by religion is able to enjoy. So basically, our mati, that our focus either will be on Krishna or Maya. So if it is like what we were discussing before also, if it is so whatever our focus is there, according to that, our entire life is actually directed towards that. Like the kind of desires we have, the activities we will do also will according to those desires only. So in case somebody's focus is thoroughly on Krishna, then he will do activities related to that. And if somebody's consciousness or desires are related to Maya, then all his energy and consciousness will put just to get more greedy, more lusty, more pride, and those things only. So he will get into that. So how our desires are, accordingly we are going to get away, get through that. So that is what is given here. So now in the next few verses, we are going to see the. So till now we are not seen the story of Ajamila. We just saw in the very short way. Now Yamdutas are going to, after telling all this philosophy of how one should not get entangled in fruitive activities and how one can be punished and all. Now Yamdutas are going to tell about Ajamila, how he actually got caught into this sinful activities. Okay, let us recite this verse. Ayam hi Shruta Sampanna
I am he Shuddha
Sampanna
विद्यागुणालयः
Samsila
शीलवृत्तो मृदुर्दान्ता
Vrittavrato
Ritavratanta
सत्यवान् मन्त्रविच्युचि
Satyavan Mantra
पूर्वज्ञातिथिवृद्धानां
Vyagni
Kurvagni
शुश्रूषर्न अङ्कृतः
Shushrusharpurna Ankrita
सर्वभूतसुहृत्साधुर्मितवागनसूयकः
Sarvabhuta
Sarvabhuta Sadhu
Mitava
Mitavag Anasuyaka.
Yes, Pranit Pro, translation.
Hare Krishna. In the beginning, this Brahmana named Ajamila studied all the Vedic literatures. He was a reservoir of good character, good conduct, and good qualities. Firmly established in executing all the Vedic injunctions, he was very mild and gentle, and he kept his mind and senses under control. Furthermore, he was always truthful. He knew how to chant the Vedic mantras, and he was also very pure. Ajamila was very respectful to his spiritual master, the fire god, guests, and the elderly members of his household. Indeed, he was free from false prestige. He was upright, benevolent to all living entities, and well behaved. He would never speak nonsense or envy anyone.
Yeah, so can anyone tell what are the qualities of Ajamila mentioned here? One quality.
He
He
was
would never speak nonsense.
Yeah.
He would never speak nonsense or envy anyone.
Yeah, he was never speaking nonsense or envy to anyone. He was very friendly to all living entities.
he
Yes,
was
any
pure,
pure hearted. He didn't have any malice towards anyone. Very pure personality.
respecting two people.
Respecting
Oh,
people.
elder people, respect.
Yeah.
Recite Vedic mantras.
Yeah, reciting Vedic mantras. He was a Brahman, and Brahmana is always reciting different mantras and all. He used to recite that. So basically, Brahmana is supposed to be in mode of goodness. He's always like Gayatri also they have to do 3 times. Basically, everything is very punctuality. This time this has to be done, and he has to put cleanliness very nicely. So in that way, he's very pure in that cleanliness also. Yes, anything else?
Benevolent and mild.
Benevolent and
Mild.
mild.
Soft.
Yeah, correct. Very soft-hearted, mild. It's not being aggressive towards anyone. Yes. Yes, Umang bro. Any quality of Ajamil?
Like bro, I was he never speaks nonsense and
That is covered
he's
already.
repetitive only.
That is covered. He never speaks nonsense.
He was a true person. Like he never says false thing. Truth always.
He was true.
Yeah, he was true person.
Okay. Truthful. Correct.
Time versus.
Yeah.
He was free from false prestige.
Correct. He was free from false prestige. Means he was not worrying about his own name, fame, what will I will get or how much people know me. He was a simple Brahman, not much worried about his prestige also. We see so many wonderful qualities. Yeah. Yes, Praveen bro. So many wonderful qualities. So he was reservoir of good character, conduct, qualities. He was very mild and gentle, established in executing all Vedic injunctions, his mind and senses under control. He was truthful, how to chant Vedic mantras, pure. He was respectful to spiritual master, fire god, guest, all the elderly members. He was free from false prestige. He was upright, benevolent to all living entities, well behaved, not speaking nonsense or envy anyone. After reading all this wonderful qualities, we feel ashamed that oh, this Ajamila is such a great personality. It's not that he was just somehow some here there person and got fell down and that's it. No, he was a very qualified person. Okay, let us come to the purport. Abhishek, bro, you can read purport.
Yes, the order carriers of Yamraja, the Yamdutas, are explaining the factual position of piety and impiety and how a living entity is entangled in this material world. Describing the history of Ajamila's life, the Yamdutas relate that in the beginning he was a learned scholar of the Vedic literature. He was well behaved, neat and clean, and very kind to everyone. In fact, he had all good qualities. In other words, he was like a perfect Brahmana. A Brahmana is expected to be perfectly pious, to follow all the regulative principles, and to have all good qualities. The symptoms of piety are explained in these verses. Srila, Srila
Veer
Vira
Raghava Acharya.
Acharya comments that Dhrita Vrata means Dhritam Vratam, Stri Sangha
Rahityatmaka
Rahityatmaka
Brahmacharyam Rupam.
Brahmacharya Rupam. In other words, Ajamila followed the rules and regulations of celibacy as a perfect brahmachari and was very soft hearted, truthful, clean, and pure. He fell down in spite of all these qualities and thus came to be threatened with punishment by Yamraja, will be described in the following verses.
Yeah, now one may say that, oh, so many wonderful qualities. How these Yamdutas can come and threaten him for punishment? So that happened because of his later part of his life, what he did. So how he fell down in spite of all these qualities, that will be explained by Yamdutas himself. So basically, Yamdutas told all the philosophy. Now they are telling the case of Ajamila in specific. Okay, next verse. Ekadaso vanam yata
एकदा सोमनं यातं
pitra sandesha kridvijaha
पितृसन्देशकृद्विजः
adaya tata vrittaha
आदाय
आदाय तथावृतः
phala pushpa samit kushan
फलपुष्पसमर्पणं
फलपुष्पासमेत्कुशाम्
dadarsha kaminam kashid
तदर्शकामिनं
ददर्शकामिनं कर्षति
shudram sahabujishchaya
शूद्रं सहाभुजिस्त्रियया
hitva cha madhum maireyam
हित्वा च मधुमेह
हेयं
mada gurnita netraya.
मदाघूर्णितनेत्रया
मत्तया विश्ला हन्निभ्या
मत्तया
मत्तेन
विश्वसन्निभ्याः
विश्वसन्निभ्यः
व्यपेतं नीरपत्रपम्
व्यपेतं
व्यपितं
नीरपत्रपं
नीरपत्रपं
क्रीडन्तम् अनुगायन्तम्
क्रीडन्तं
क्रीडन्तमनुगायन्तम्
हसन्तम् अनयान्तिके.
क्रीडन्तं
हसन्तम् अनयान्तिके
Yes, Suraj Group translation.
Once this Hare Krishna. Once this Brahmana Ajamila, following the order of his father, went to the forest to collect fruit, flowers, and two kinds of grass called Samit and Kusha. On the way home, he came upon a Shudra, a very lusty fourth-class man, who was shamelessly embracing and kissing a prostitute. The Shudra was smiling, singing, and enjoying as if this were proper behavior. Both the Shudra and the prostitute were drunk. The prostitute's eyes were rolling in intoxication, and her dress had become loose. Such was the condition in which Ajamila saw them.
Yeah, so once this Ajamila following the order of his father, went to the forest to collect fruit, flowers, and two kind of grass called Samit and Kusha. So that time he came across the scene of Shudra embracing a prostitute, and that's how he started contemplating on that. So, so that time only this scene was like maybe some rare scenes used to be like this. Nowadays, many places this thing's going on. So one has to be very careful while going anywhere. One has to keep himself very pure and not get his mind diverted by this kind of things. Yes, purport. Yes, Ronak, purport.
While traveling along the public way, Ajamil came upon a fourth class man and a prostitute, who are vividly described here. Drunkenness was sometimes manifest even in bygone ages, although not very frequently. In this age of Kali, however, such sin is to be seen everywhere, for people all over the world have become shameless. Long ago, when he saw the scene of a drunken Shudra and the prostitute, Ajamil, who was a perfect brahmachari, was offended. Nowadays, such sin is visible in so many places, and we must consider the position of a brahmachari student who sees such behavior. For such a brahmachari to remain steady is very difficult unless he is extremely strong in following the regulative principles. Nevertheless, if one takes to Krishna consciousness very seriously, he can withstand the provocation created by the sin. In our Krishna consciousness movement, we prohibit illicit sex, intoxication, meat eating, gambling. In Kali Yuga, a drunk, half naked woman embracing a drunk man is a very common sight, especially in the Western countries, and restraining oneself after seeing such things is very difficult. Nevertheless, if by the grace of Krishna one adheres to the regulative principles and chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Krishna will certainly protect him. Indeed, Krishna says that his devotee is never vanquished. Kauntaya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Bhagavad Gita 9.31. Therefore, all the disciples practicing Krishna consciousness should obediently follow the regulative principles and remain fixed in the holy name of Lord. Then there will be need to be no fear. Otherwise, one's position is very dangerous, especially in this Kali Yuga.
Yeah, so here we can see Prabhupada is so merciful. He just did not just quoted the problem, he gave the solution also. So we see the translation only tells about how Ajamila fell down. But Prabhupada warns us that such things are very common in the Kali Yuga, especially nowadays we see such all over the world, people have become very shameless. And when he saw the scene of drunkard Shudra, so basically this kind of scenes are very common. So, and especially for brahmacharis to remain steady is very difficult in such circumstances. So that's why one has to avoid. And Prabhupada is giving the solution also. He's telling that therefore all the disciples practicing Krishna consciousness should obediently follow the four regulative principles: no meat eating, no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication, and remain fixed in chanting of the holy names of the Lord. So chanting is very essential. So when it is said that when you chant your all like whatever number of rounds you are chanting, if you chant, give the first priority to chanting early in the morning only you do that. So that is like a protection you get all over. So whenever you go, you are like fully protected because you have completed your 16 rounds. So that itself gives you a lot of strength. But in case somebody has not completed 16 rounds and if he goes out, then there is a lot of danger for him. Anytime Maya may attack him. And then he think, oh, what happened? How the Maya is attacking me so much? Because I did not finish my rounds. I am still kept 2 rounds pending from the morning. I completed 14 rounds. Two are remaining, and sometimes it so happens that devotee drags on to different services, this, that, and finally at the while sleeping he remembers, oh, 2 rounds are remaining. So then he completes it. So that is not a very good sign. So basically, round should be completed as early as possible. Best is early in the morning. In case in because of certain things it couldn't happen, then as soon as you do some things, you immediately complete your rounds. There are devotees who have taken a vow that till the time I don't complete my rounds, I will not take only any prasad. So suppose breakfast one has to take at 9 o'clock, then he makes sure that he chants before that. So then no more pending of rounds. So that is a good habit. So we should make it a. Even Radheshampuru's life I have seen. Wherever we travel, he never keeps his like traveling is there. It is very sometimes. Suppose we have to go some far away, 4 5 hours distance place. Then one may think, okay, let me travel at 4 o'clock in the morning because anyway 4:30 we attend our thing. Let me travel 4:30 to 9:30, reach the place to get the prasadam nice there. But Prabhuji is first you complete the round, then only you travel wherever you want. So for 4:30, Prabhuji will chant 2 hours. Either if it is in temple, then he will chant 5:30 to 7:30. And in case we have to leave 6:30 or so, then he will go to some voice center, chant his 16 rounds, 4:30 to 6:30, and then only start any journey. So that is very essential. And Prabhuji is now 56 years. Even at this time also, Prabhuji follows all the completing his rounds on time and his all the sadhana morning program. Everything is very intact, and that's why we see that he is going on and on. There is no. It's always very conscious of everything. So when one is very alert and conscious, then he will not fall down. So that's why one has to chant his 16 rounds very attentively and follow four regulative principles. The in between I had sent one quote also. If somebody is little not so little casual about chanting and casual about following the four rays, then there are chances that he is in a very dangerous situation. Anytime fall down can happen. So that's why if we find that in us or in other devotees, then we should not so good sign it is. Okay, now Praveen Pro will read this. Let us recite this verse. दृष्ट्वा तां कामलिप्तेन
दृष्ट्वा तां कामलिप्तेन
परिरम्भिता sorry
बहुना
बाहुना परिरम्भिताम्
बाहुना
Bahuna
परिरम्भितां
Pariyamritam
जगामारिच्छया वशम्
जगामाहृत्य
Jagamarityavamsham
सहसैवाविमोहितः.
सहसैव
Sahasarasaiva
Yes, Praveen Pro. Translation.
The Sudra, his arm decorated with turmeric powder, was embracing the prostitute. When Ajamala saw her, the dormantly lusty desires in his heart awakened, and in illusion he fell under their control.
Purport.
It is said that if one's body is smeared with turmeric, it attacks the lusty desires of the opposite sex. The word Kama Liparna indicates that Sudra was decorated with turmeric smeared on his body.
Yeah, so people do different turmeric nowadays. They put different perfumes to attract opposite sex. So that's why in our Krishna consciousness, we generally don't put any perfumes or anything because basically when you take bath nicely, you take a nice bath, shower bath, then you see that anyway there will not be any what we say smell coming from the body. So you don't have to externally apply some deodorant or perfumes to just tell other people that oh I am so fragrant and all. Everyone knows what is there in the body, so there is no need to show others that oh I am like this and like that. So that unnecessarily agitates our own mind and others also. So that is not good. And people actually same things they do, but they try to do it in like one place we went. Actually, they had like Kolkata. We went. There was they have this hotel, big this chowk is there. The big what we say. Yeah, the highway is there, and in that they have big. The hotel is there on the upper side. The some four circles come. One circle is only there. From distance, you can't even know that it's hotel. But then some devotees told actually that's the hotel. And people they just same thing. They will eat what they eat here. That only they will eat there. But if you go there, there is a double cost, double or triple cost, very costly. And what you get is you are able to see the entire view of different place and then you can eat it. So basically same thing, but they want to do it in a because they don't get that kind of happiness, so they want to change the external thing so that they can get a better amount of happiness. But basically we know that all the happiness in this world is temporary, it is not permanent. So one may what is it Narsimha Indra. Yeah, Narsimha, that is there. If you decorate the Lord's body, you smear Lord's body with different. So for Lord also we use some oils and all. But and you see the pujaris who serve the Lord, when they come out from the pujari room, they are very fragrant. So and they did not try to make them their body as fragrant, but just by making Lord's body fragrant, they also became fragrant like them. And that fragrance is not to attract somebody, but that fragrance is actually Mahaprasad of the Lord. So that is not a problem. So when you do service for the Lord, then automatically, and even when we decorate ourselves, instead of decorating oneself, if you decorate the Lord, basically decorating tendency is there. We have to only doubt it. Instead of decorating ourselves, we decorate the Lord. We dress the Lord nicely. We make nice altar of the Lord. Put nice flowers and nice things. So that will help us also. Rabinav Pro is there. He does very nice decoration of his deities. He has deities at home, Gaunita deities, and a big altar is there having different acharyas, and so he regularly puts chandan and all deity related things. Wonderful that is. So when we do that, we can actually be saved from all other things. Okay, so we will end here for today, and we will see what all things happened, how Ajamila actually fell down, even after having so many wonderful qualities of a devotee. He actually fell down. Now he has just seen, he could, like, that scene was observed by him. But what actually made him fall down, that we are going to see in the next Saturday session. So for today, we will stop here. Okay, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.
Jai. Jai.
Thank you for joining. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Where is Amarnath Pro?
I don't know. He went to home.
You are at home or in temple?
I am at home. He went to home today. He will come by 6 o'clock.
Oh, why is not joining? Reading?
I don't know, Prabhu. I will ask once.
Yeah. You ask him.
Yes,
Okay. ठीक है.
Prabhu,
Yes.
I will message you now.
Yes.
I will message you in WhatsApp. I will.
Okay. Yes. Sure.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Suraj.
Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Dandavat.
So I had called you, Prabhuji, yesterday, but the Prabhuji told me you are out of the country.
Yes, I am in Bangladesh.
Okay. So how much time you will be there? Yeah, is that the temple which was being burnt down?
No, that was other place. We are in other place.
Okay. So how many days you are in Bangladesh?
Now 2 more days. Today and tomorrow. Day after tomorrow morning we are leaving.
Okay. Here actually the rain is going on, so the current is not there.
No, in Assam.
Yeah.